Hi guys, Crystal City Girl Homestead, and time for dinner, supper, whatever you want to call it, and back to Grandma's recipes. Now I am going to cheat today on this recipe. I'm not making my own biscuits. You guys know I'm not very good at that, so I'm going to use canned biscuits. So, I'm hoping this pan is big enough. If not, I'll have to go up to my next size. So the first thing that I need to do is, it says 2 to 3 cooked shredded chicken breasts. So I've got all that rotisserie chicken that I deboned and then I froze it up. We probably don't want that piece on there. We'll cut that off, no biggie. We're gonna chop this up. Thought I heard a bone in there. You try really hard not to do that, but every once in a while, you end up with a bone. So, all my chicken obviously is cooked already. So, we're going to chop this package up. Now my grandma, I think she did hers in a pressure cooker. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, to be honest, I wished I would have paid closer attention to things that, you know, how they made them and whatever. I just know that they were good. And, you know, I think that's something that is going to be so good, like, when I do finally pass away someday. My grandkids can go back and they can look and see how Grandma actually did it. And, you know, like, I don't have her recipe cards or anything like that. Yeah, that should be fine. Just trying to make sure I'll have enough room. So then, it calls for 32 ounces of chicken broth. Which, remember, I canned all that broth. So we're going to use that. We're going to put that in there. Oh yeah. And we're going to use a can of cream of chicken soup. Cream of chicken and cream of mushroom is a soup I usually try to always keep here at the house. When I get low, then I order like another 12 cans of it. So I always have it in my pantry. And I hope that during this, you know, last couple weeks, you guys really do see how much you can use from your pantry, which is your refrigerator, freezer, you know, all that good stuff. So now what you want to do is you want to get this to a boil. So I'm going to kind of mix it a little bit. And it also says if it's not, you know, watery enough for you, that you can always add more broth. Well, and it said the broth from your chicken that you fried, but obviously I didn't fry my chicken. So that's not going to happen. So I have those granules that I can actually make up more broth if I need be. Now it asks for poultry seasoning. I don't have poultry seasoning. I never use it. So, but I am going to use that trusty pepper. Because I know she used that. So now what we want to do is we want to get that to boiling. So in the meantime, while we're waiting for that to boil, we need to cut up a cup of carrots. Now, because it was so nasty yesterday, I actually had to get this big package from Sam's. So, needless to say, Tom will be taking carrots for work for the next couple weeks too. Now I'm just going to chop these in half I don't think they need to be real small pieces or anything like that. If you want to chop them smaller than that, you can go for it. Yeah, yesterday was so bitter cold. You didn't want to get out of the car unless you had to. Because it was -7 here all day yesterday. It was horrible. Today we actually got up to, it's 21 degrees right now, but we got another 2 inches of snow. So I got out to go to the bread store, and, well, yeah, it's pretty slick out there. And you know, they can put salt on everything, but actually that doesn't do any good as long as it's below freezing. And it's still below freezing here, so. Alright, now we're going to chop up some celery. And this is all stuff we can do while we're waiting for that to come to a boil. I love things that'll be a one-pot dish, and you can prep other things while you're getting things ready. I like that. I'm not making them real thick. I know it was on my chicken board, but my chicken was cooked, and it's all going into the same thing. I know I'll have somebody go, you should have done this. But that's how it is, you know what I mean? So, we're going to let this come to a boil. Oh, yeah. So now while I'm doing that, let's see if we can get this to fit into here. Or close to it. So we can continue to prep as we're waiting. Maybe. It's going to be full, but maybe. Now, you're going to take your refrigerator biscuits, and maybe my grandma did make this, I don't know. Because I think they had biscuits back then, but it was those smaller ones back then. I don't ever remember the big ones like this. It was just that they came in a 4-pack, and she could have used those, actually. She did buy those, I know that. So what we want to do with these, though, is we want to smush them down a little bit. And you could also actually just tear them off if you wanted to. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to have strips. Now, I'm going to, it doesn't say that in the directions, but I'm going to cut mine in half too. So I'm going to cut the strips and then in half. I don't want a great big piece of the dumpling at one time. It's just not my thing. Well, I cut those in 3. That's okay, that'll work too. Do you guys remember your grandma making dumplings? I thought they were amazing, but you know, my mom used to make something with dumplings too, but it wasn't oxtail. I don't remember what it was that she used. And she did use the pressure cooker for that. What was it she used? I'm trying to think. I don't want to say kidneys, but something like that is what my mom used for the meat in it. And then she pressure canned it or cooked it, and then she had the biscuits on top. And that was one of my favorite things that she made, actually. Gizzards. That's what she had, was gizzards. And it had like a gravy and whatever. I wished I'd have learned how to make those too, because boy, were they good. That was really, really good. Let me bring you down here and show you how it looks so far. That look amazing. I'm using my recipe holder. Alright, so we want to, once it's boiling, then let it simmer for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to do that and then I'll come back. Alright, so I finished up the 5 minutes and then I was sitting here thinking, and, you know, thinking of memories of my grandma. And when she'd make her homemade biscuits, I would tear off a little piece and I'd eat it. I'd do that when she did her potatoes too. And she'd be like, Chrissy Lynn. It made me think of her when I was chopping these biscuits up. And then my grandma always wore a apron. But you know, her apron was like, it was almost like a dress kinda, you know what I mean? Like, it fully covered the sides and everything of her. And then she always had those bigger pockets right in front, and like, she could store stuff in those pockets, boy, I'll tell you. And I don't know what made me think of that today, but that was so cool that she used to do that. And she could go down into the cellar and she could put stuff in that pocket, you know what I mean? So it'd be like completely ready for, she could carry it up in her hands or in her pocket. But I don't think I've ever seen any aprons since then, but they did, they covered up everything. So it was like, she never got her clothes dirty. It was amazing. Alright, so now we're going to put these biscuits in there one at a time, because you want to try to not get them to all stick. So that's kind of what I did. Well, the 5 minutes is pull them a little bit apart. And it says they'll fluff way up and then they'll go back down to normal size after it cools down a little bit. I should bring you over here so you can see it. Okay, so now you can see it a little bit. Isn't it funny how just even like a little apron, you know what I mean, can make you think of things. And every day that I've peeled potatoes, I've actually stolen a piece of potato. And I did that with my mom too. And yeah, it was, this week has been, and last week has been, you know, so nice to take trips down memory lane. And I've read you guys' stories too, and I've had a couple people email me pictures of their grandmas. And so obviously it really got to you guys too. And that's what I think, you know, sometimes we always just look to the future, that we forget about the beautiful things from our past and how valuable and how much they made and affected our lives. And, you know, like, they were amazing. They were amazing. I just hope that my grandkids can love me half as much as I did her and my grandfather, you know, and I just really hope that I can give them the memories that I got from them. And it just, you know, I mean, I'm sitting here gleaming in my eyes, and I can feel it. Like, you know how you can tell that you're just like, you know what I mean? And my eyes are glittering because I think about an amazing woman. Because, guys, she was amazing. Now you're going to add your carrots and your celery. Maybe I should have cut my carrots a little bit smaller, I guess. I don't know. And we want to get that all mixed in. Doesn't that look amazing? Oh, that's going to be so good. I can almost bet my grandma probably added onion to it too. So now we're going to put our lid back on that. And we're going to turn it on low. And we're going to let it simmer for 15 to 20 minutes. And you gotta stir it once in a while so that your dumplings don't all, come and stay together. So, I'm gonna set my timer for 20 minutes, and then I'll be back. Now I ended up adding 2 more cups of chicken broth because I want it to be more of a soupy consistent, and I use this chicken bouillon and hot water. Now it's been 25 minutes and the biscuits are not done, and the veggies are a little bit still, well, not done. So I set it for another 10 minutes because nobody wants gross biscuits. So I think sometimes people put times on there, and maybe our stoves are different, whatever it happens to be, but at 20 minutes it was not done. So I'm going to continue to let it simmer and cook, and I'll come back when it's done. Well, hi, Tom.
Hello.
How are you?
Tired. I'm gonna be even more tired.
Just got mandatory 7 days a week, huh?
Yeah.
10-hour days. That should be fun. Not.
70 hours.
There is, look at that. That look good. How does it taste?
It was really good. It was really, really good.
So I end up cooking it about 30 minutes. And the dumplings are done.
Mm-hmm. These are good. Really good.
So if there's something over there on a plate.
Oh, I guess there is. Ginger cookies or molasses cookies?
Molasses.
Ah.
What do you think?
Black molasses, right?
Molasses is always black, I think. What do you think?
I know this because I've seen the jar.
What do you think?
It's delicious.
And they're soft too, aren't they?
They're really good.
He knew about them because we sent a couple home with Clark. So we're gonna, he's gonna eat his cookie first now. I see how it works. Belle's a nudging at you. She smells chicken.
You want me to dip my finger in that hot soup and give you a piece, right?
Alright, we're gonna let him eat. Jack ran home real quick. He'll be back. But you guys have a blessed night. Be a blessing. Goodbye, Tom.
Bye, Tom.
You guys have a wonderful night.